Nigeria stands at crossroads. Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is departing Abuja today for a so-called security-heavy state visit to Turkey, just weeks after US airstrikes on ISIS-linked targets in the Caliphate of Sokoto and after high-level engagements with American officials. He's still talking to some of them in Abuja today. This is not normal timing. And in geopolitics, timing is never accidental. This trip is not about trade fairs or cultural festivals. It is about security, military cooperation, and strategic realignment. And the timing is revealing. It's revealing. To this day, at least to my knowledge, let me just give you an example, ladies and gentlemen, how comical the situation is in Nigeria. The Sultan of Sokoto, the preeminent spiritual leader of all Muslims, has made no public statement on the bombings. None. Even though it was his backyard that was bombed. Nil, zero, nada. In Nigeria, silence is also a press release. Silence is pregnant with meaning. By the way, can President Tinubu ever do anything right? Look at the American President Trump, who stood up for thousands of murdered Christians in the north of Nigeria by bombing Sokoto. But Tinubu can never do anything right. Tinubu is a guy, a member, the head of the gang that cannot choose straight. What Tinubu says versus what Tinubu does. Let's look at this. Officially, this thing to talk is a state visit. Bilateral relations, trade investment, technical cooperation, blah, blah, blah. The same press release they used by Onanuga to recycle like old APC campaign posters and lies. This is the quote from the Onanuga press release yesterday. I saw. Quote, he's expected, that's the president, to return to the country at the conclusion of the visit. Unquote. Where was he going to return to? Where is he going after that? Is he going back to his adopted country, France? Does he still consider himself a Nigerian citizen? Will he disappear from Nigeria again? He disappeared right after the bombing. We did not see him again until sometime in January. After 21 days, what? A Nigerian on social media asked this question, and it's a very good question. Has he, the president, broached the idea of seeking asylum somewhere? Because I cannot understand the need to inform Nigerians that he'll be heading home. That is incredible. That is the kind of president you have in Nigeria. The president of Nigeria makes Nigeria, a country, look like a joke. Like a joke country. Let's go back to this trip to Turkey. Tinubu is traveling with security chiefs, not business delegations. That tells you everything. So let me ask plainly, why does Tinubu pivot to Turkey? Just weeks after US airstrikes meant to degrade ISIS networks in Nigeria, in Sokoto. Why now? Why now? After the waste of time and sham going on right now in Abuja called US-Nigeria Joint Working Group. Right now, they're taking pictures in Abuja. US-Nigeria Joint Working Group. What a sham. In Nigerian politics, when explanations don't add up, just follow the flight schedule. Tinubu is on the plane. Let me tell you what this really signals, this trip. Let's be blunt. Tinubu's southern romance with controversial Turkey looks like a pivot away from the United States at a very sensitive moment. Here's the context. The US bombs ISIS-linked terrorists in Sokoto Caliphate, where the Sultan rules. Immediately after, powerful voices start condemning the US. Powerful northern Nigeria voices condemn US involvement. Figures like Dr. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi lightly urge Nigerians to abandon US security cooperation and look instead to China and Turkey. China and Turkey? China and Turkey are now neutral. China that exploits African countries and holds them at ransom, and controversial Turkey. In Nigeria, even Nepal is more neutral than China and Turkey. Those are the people we're going to be with now. Now, suddenly, Tinubu is boarding a plane to Ankara with the security chiefs. That timing is too neat for me, ladies and gentlemen. When Nigerian politicians say coincidence, check your wallet. They might steal money from you. Washington will read this move very, very clearly, especially Trump. Trump will read this move. This is the kind of chess move where you knock over the board and still claim you are winning. Trump will read it. I hope Trump listens to the Ofion Okwa show, because this will just make his work easy. Let's look at Gumi's movements. Unconfirmed but dangerous. Let me be clear. There are unverified reports circulating about Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Gumi's movements between Nigeria and Turkey after the bombings. This is a man accused of enabling these people. These are not confirmed by established journalists in Nigeria. I agree. But here's what is confirmed. Here's what is confirmed. Gumi has been relentless in condemning Trump and condemning the United States involvement in Nigeria. Number two, he has openly urged Nigerians to pivot away from America. He has openly urged Tinubu. He has consistently promoted Turkey and China as alternatives to the U.S. So even if travel is undocumented, the political narrative is alive. Trump is not arresting him. He's arresting Omoyele Sowore. He's not arresting Gumi. A powerful Islamic cleric hostile to U.S. counter-terror efforts suddenly aligns rhetorically with the same country Nigeria is now cutting. Did he arrange this visit, Gumi? In Nigeria, rumor does not need evidence. It only needs timing and perception. Perception is power. Perception right now, for me, is that Gumi arranged this visit. This is my own perception. This is how I perceive it. But who am I? The question is, how would the U.S. interpret this? From Washington's perspective, this looks like strategic distancing. The message reads clearly. Nigeria wants U.S. firepower, but not American friendship. You see this in The Godfather, the movie. Or worse, Nigeria wants help, but doesn't want to be seen thanking the helper. They will not thank Donald Trump for saving the lives of thousands of Christians in Nigeria. That's like calling the fire brigade, then arguing with them while your house is still burning. Trust matters in security cooperation, and trust is being tested. Right now, there is no trust between Tinubu and the Americans. I understand that Tinubu is under domestic pressure. So let's look at that issue. Let's look at the real issue. Nigeria is already fractured. Christians versus Muslims, terrorism and mass killings every single week, ethnic and regional power struggles, ethnic nationalities in Nigeria hate each other. Let us be honest, they don't like each other. Okay? Some Islamic ministers and northern elites are openly warning Tinubu not to cooperate with the U.S. on Christian killing. This is somebody coming to help you. They are threatening political consequences for Bola Tinubu. Let me say it in plain Nigerian English. This is not time for grammar. The Caliphate North will not support Tinubu in 2027 if he works with Trump to end the Christian killing. 12 states in the Caliphate North who practice Sharia, they will not support Tinubu. Simple. In Nigeria, principles are optional. Re-election is mandatory for those Nigerian corrupt politicians. So Tinubu is talking between Washington's expectations of him, which is and his promises, to a powerful internal bloc pushing an anti-Trump, anti-American ally, a northern bloc within his own camp. In my opinion, and I will own my opinion, Tinubu has caved. The Caliphate Northern Bloc has won in Nigeria. The real accusation here is the core charge. If Tinubu is privately assuring Washington of cooperation, sending Ribadu up and down, while publicly repositioning Nigeria away from the U.S., then this is not diplomacy. It is deception. It is naked deception. Is Tinubu bending to Islamist power brokers? Is that what is happening? Extremist Islamist power brokers? Is the Turkey trip a signal to anti-U.S. forces in Nigeria at home? Is it telling Trump one thing and doing another? In Nigeria, we call this playing both sides. In Washington, they call it you're on your own. Tinubu may be on his own. Tinubu should go and pray. He does not want to be like Maduro, put on a plane and brought to New York. My conclusion and a warning, this is not just about the trip. It is about who controls Nigeria's shaky security policy. A government, Tinubu's government, pivoting towards Turkey at the worst possible moment. A religious establishment in Nigeria hostile to U.S. action. A president possibly playing both sides to survive politically. In Nigeria, when leaders start balancing too many plates, it is usually the citizens that get broken. I therefore call on the United States to continue precision strikes like against confirmed ISIS affiliates, like what happened in Sokoto, because Nigeria's internal leadership is becoming an unreliable partner. Tinubu is playing the U.S. government. He cannot be trusted. Christians are dying. Something needs to be done. Some people are asking, when is Trump coming again? He needs to come. Is Tinubu prioritizing Nigeria's security or just his own political survival? Does he care about the Christians that have been killed in Nigeria? Because history does not laugh. It records. Maybe Tinubu is just interested in his own political, let him win and keep making billions and billions. This is the Ofion Show. We just don't report events. We track where they head. We look at the future. I remain the voice of the voiceless. I am your independent voice. Telling fearless truths you will not hear anywhere. And sometimes I laugh at the failing and inept Nigerian power. Look at the way Tinubu is behaving like an amateur.